Good morning, everyone. It is Ravenflower, and we are back with Truth Talk. This is my what do we call it? Washington Witch Squad member Tara, um, and we are back for Truth Talk. And good morning, everybody. I see Jennifer Knighton's here. I see you are here. How is it that you're logged in? You're so cute.
I have my
Hello,
computer on over here.
I'm like, hello, Miss Lucy Morningstar. And I'm like, wait, that's you.
Yeah.
Wait. We had a pretty awesome talk last night with Aiden. There were so many questions in the chat, and and I want you to know that Tara is totally welcome to some questions at the end. We're going to be talking for about 45 minutes to an hour with her truth, and then Tara, you're open to questions. See, I call you Tara because I have two friends that are Taras. And one of them is a work friend and also lives in the neighborhood. So it's just like it's on my tongue. So if I do it, I'm sorry, and I will correct myself.
Okay, that's fine.
Pronouns, I can work on Tara.
Okay.
Tara too. All right. Well, without further ado, welcome. Thank you for coming into the chat, and go.
Okay, what do you want me to talk about?
Before we came on live, we were talking about 2020. You were saying that 2020 is like the worst year, and I'm like, yeah, and it feels like residual 2020 energy now that we're in 2021, but still we're like dealing with the pandemic and the other stuff, so it's like we're not quite there yet. But I and my family go through something in March. It is, as a witch, I'm super excited about the changing of the season, and my name is Ravenflower, so I'm like, I get to get into the garden. I get all super excited about it, and then March happens, and it is supposed to be a very happy month, but I have lost a lot of family members in the month of March. So like my aunt who raised me for a time, my Aunt Angie, she passed away. My grandmother Helen, who is always around and nitpicking me all the time. Let's see, and my Mimi, my Papa. I mean, my mother-in-law. I mean, it is just like as soon as things are happy. And my husband and my anniversary is St. Patty's Day. Last name O'Reilly. It's a thing.
My last name's Milligan.
Milligan. I'm like excited, and then I'm like, oh, this year it's like, is it gonna come? It's like the Death Watch beetle for me. March. I'm like, here we go. Oh, March.
Yeah, this year for me or 2020 for me was just really, really bad. I can talk about, I guess, 2020 if you want.
Talk.
Starting in February of 2020, I lost all contact with my mom over something very stupid and little and minute. We argued about the Super Bowl halftime show. Like, that is how we stopped talking.
Are you kidding? What
No.
happened at the Super Bowl halftime show?
It was J-Lo and Shakira.
Oh, that was cool. I liked that.
Yeah,
I
liked it. I didn't have a problem with it, but my mom
was pretty pretty.
My mom has turned very uber Christian. We were when we grew up, we were Christian, but we weren't just really strict. And then I don't know what happened. She moved. We all lived in the same town. And then I think around 2018, 2019, she moved over a couple towns over. And so we kind of had that separation. We were like very close. We talked every day. While she lived here, I was like over at her house. I basically like raised my kids with my mom. I mean, my first kiddo, and when I was pregnant, me and my mom were pregnant at the same time. So like,
wow.
You know, we were very close. And then somewhere I guess he would be my stepdad because they're now married. They got married during the pandemic. We weren't invited either. That was kind of hard too.
What?
Yeah. So it was very, very hard at the very beginning of the pandemic, just because like everything that was like my normal was kind of just like stripped away, the rug was pulled right out from underneath of me. The kids had to go through virtual school, like it was just everything it felt like imploding and just like landing on top of me. So that happened. And then I don't even know when it will happen, but then my father-in-law, got diagnosed with cancer, and then it fastly spread. And then August is when he passed. So it felt like just one big bomb, just, right after the other. And I, like, with shadow work, I was like, no, 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 this is too much. I can't do it. And instead of doing like shadow work and anything, like I decided I'm gonna do my old habit. So emotional eating, not taking care of myself, just everything. This was like all, just all on me all at once. So it was a really rough year. Really rough year.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just we're kind of still feeling the effects of 2020.
Yeah, yeah. It's that weird residual energy. It's not, I mean, people are dealing with financial issues. I am one of the quote unquote lucky ones that I was deemed by my management as essential because I do bookkeeping for, part of the stuff. Half of I would say maybe a little bit, some of the responsibilities have been shut down and I'm not having to deal with that. But having to work this whole time.
Yeah, that was my husband. He's been working the whole time.
It's been rough. It has been rough. I think it's gotten better. I think it has gotten much better in regards to people wearing masks and trying to be respectful of space and things like that. But it just hasn't been easy. And at one point, I'm just like, maybe I could get COVID and then have a 2-week vacation on this occasion. And I say that lightly because I don't want COVID, especially with underlying conditions. And I understand that there's some sort of longevity damage to there's results or reports coming back or studies coming back saying that people are having prolonged lung and heart problems for those.
I have a heart condition, so like I don't want it.
Yeah, so, I don't blame you. Heart condition. Is that something from childhood?
Yeah, I have. So when I was younger, I was very into sports. Basketball was like my thing. I played basketball from, I want to say when they first allowed it was like first grade to eighth grade. Eighth grade, they found out that I had a heart murmur. And so they're like, okay, let's look into that further. Then they found out I have mitral valve prolapse with regurgitation.
What is that?
So when your valve is like opening and shutting, mine kind of does this, and so it doesn't close all the way. So blood kind of just goes back up into it.
Okay. What does that cause?
All they said basically is I just have to monitor it. When I was younger, they told me I would have a valve replaced by 21, which I'm thankful that I've never had that. And then, but it just kind of like just watch and see. We don't know what caused it. Just watch and see. So I've just kind of been just watch and see most of my life.
Does it affect your ability to like do sports? Because I know one of your big things is doing, and I'm telling you, you're nervous to come on here, but I'd be nervous to be doing workouts at lightning fast speed and video them and put them up at daily. I would be like, oh no, nobody needs to do this bend. No.
I think what was easy for that was when I was a Beachbody coach, that was like something you had to do. Like you had to videotape yourself. That was like a requirement. And I think I just kind of over the years got used to it. Last year, definitely quit being a Beachbody coach because of a lot of the drama that was in the coaching world. I love their workouts. Don't get me wrong. I love Beachbody workouts. Like I've been doing them since, I want to say after I had my first kiddo.
Oh, okay.
So 2000, they were born 2007. So 2007.
You're like, ooh, gotta go back.
Yeah. That's been also
Mine is 1996.
Yeah.
I'm old.
I was 11 in 1996.
Actually, I have to take it back further because I have a son that I gave up for adoption. So I did a whole open adoption. So I was a birth parent, and that was 93. So like I literally had my kid on a Tuesday, or no, I had my kid on a Thursday, and I started school on a Tuesday, senior year. Like I was like, woo.
Yep. My mom had me when she was 16, and it was very that was hard on my mom, I think, because my dad was the next door neighbor, and his parents wanted nothing to do with me, nothing. So they tried to have my mom have an abortion with me. They said all these mean and horrible things to my mom. So I get my mom lived a very rough life. So like, I mean, I saw a lot of things as a child that no children should ever see. And I think that the reason why I think it hurt so much is me and my mom grew up together. She was 16, baby, I just think that it hurt so much with that relationship just ending as we grew up together. And then, and I think she expected so much of me because of that. So it's been really rough.
Okay, let's go back to, you had said that mom sort of like disconnected with you because she became uber Christian. So even despite all of this, like your bond from her having you at 16 and just kind of, it's kind of like a Gilmore Girls situation, like you're pretty dang close in age, which is interesting. My mother was only 14 when she had me. So maybe she was closer to 15. And I remember, like, I don't know, getting dropped off at school, and my friends that were boys were like, your mother's so pretty.
Yeah, that was me. I had, like, growing up, I did not have friends that were girls. I had a lot of friends that were guys. So they would all, when they would come over, they'd be like going through my mom's like underwear drawer. I'd be like, get out of there. Like, how embarrassing is that? Like, I don't know what's in there. Get out of there.
How has relationship of the disconnect, like my mother lost custody of me for abuse, so like I would say after I was maybe like around 10-ish, my love for my mother totally changed to something different. It was more of a fear situation, and it was like, just make her happy so that she doesn't hurt me or yell at me, type thing.
That's what happened over the last couple of years. I didn't want to tell her. So me and her never formally had the talk that I was a witch, that my views on religion changed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we never had that talk. The people who had the talk with my mom was my aunt and my sister. And my sister, is not a nice person. She's not a good person. She's not this. I don't trust my sister, basically. And she decided she wanted to get in my mom's good graces, I guess, and tell all my business, to my mother. My aunt went on the internet, I guess, talking like bad about me, telling me that, or saying to people that where I used to live, because I don't live where I grew up. I was born and raised. We had moved, so I'm not close to any of my other family anymore.
Aren't you a California girl as well?
No, I still lived in Washington, but it was like closer towards Oregon.
Okay.
So I grew up in that little town and then moved away at 17. So I just lost, contact with my family, really. We didn't see each other. The two towns are totally different, So I just started my life here, but my aunt always would throw little digs at me. Just throw little digs all the time. When I was younger and I first moved out, I had a boyfriend, and he broke my heart. and I got a tattoo. Where's the camera? Tattoo. And underneath it says "Trust no man," because my heart was broken. Like, he had cheated on me with my best friend, a bunch of other girls, just this horrible situation. And my roommate, who was my best friend at the time, was bisexual. So my uncle, my aunt came up to me and was like, "Are you a lesbian?" Like, in front of everybody. And I was like, "What?" So, like, this is kind of like the backstory of my aunt and my uncle. They were just like, you know, they're those people. So anyways, my aunt started spreading those rumors about me, saying that, like, I was very ungodly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just all these things. She also told people that when she found out that I was a witch, and like I was sharing stuff on, you know, Facebook, I don't share things that automatically just go with my views. I just sometimes will see something that's witchy and I'll be like, "Okay, share that. Let's share it. It's witchy. Let's share it." You know, and it may not go with what I'm doing personally, but I'll share it. You know, just there's tons of different witchcraft, you know, people out there. So, like, I just share whatever. So she automatically assumed that that's what I was doing. And I don't remember anything that I actually shared that would make her think this, but she was like, "She's out there sacrificing people, sacrificing the animals." And I was like, my brother told me that, and I was like, "Are you serious? That's what she's telling people?" Like, I'm vegan. I don't eat meat.
I'm dying.
But my mom
is just
my mom believed that. My mom believed that. I mean, we were that close, but she believed that I was doing these horrible, nasty things, you know? And I was like, "No." And so, like, we'd never had that talk, but so we got back to our fight. Okay, she was yelling at me about this, and I had it on speakerphone. It was a late start day for my son, so he was home, and she was out there just basically telling me my views have changed. I'm no longer this godly person. I'm not a Christian. I'm all these things. And then she started to attack my children, and I was like, no. F you is what I said, the actual word, but I was like, "Fuck you. You need to stop. That is enough." And she was on speaker, so my son heard everything.
What? Can I ask what she was blaming your kids for?
So she was saying basically because my views have changed, and I thought the J-Lo, like, I don't remember the J-Lo crotch shot. I don't remember that. So I was like, what does that even really matter, to be honest? Like, that person has nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? It's J-Lo. She has nothing to do with me. She don't even know I exist. But my mom was, like, basically saying that if I allow my kids to watch this, they're going to be, like, for my example, my son, he would be one of those people who would go on and do something to women. And I was like, "Excuse me? Because of a crotch shot? Like, what are you even talking about?"
Wow.
And then, okay, so
crotch shot of underwear, basically.
Yeah, because I couldn't see anything. She had, like the Britney Spears, like, you know, the sequin suit. It's skin tone. You can't see anything. So, like, I was like, everybody who's, like, losing their mind about it, I was like, you weren't going to see it anyway.
I mean, no. Although if I mean, J-Lo is 50 and looking good for 50. So I would be blessed if I got like that. Would be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't look.
You know, so it was just like little things. And then she, my older kiddo, and I have permission to say this, so I asked ahead of time, when they were 11 or 12, they came out as bisexual to me. They were really scared and nervous. They wrote me a little note and stuck it in my little book that I was reading. And at that time, I hadn't picked the book up. So they had been sitting there waiting for me to read this. And I was just like, I got it finally. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like they thought that I was going to be like my mother, you know?
Oh.
And I was like, no. I was like, honey, like, this is not how life is. Like, I would never do that to you. You are my child. I love you no matter what. So don't think that way. And then this in 2020, they came out as non-binary. So.
Okay. Do they, is it a them-they situation?
Yes, it's a them.
Okay. So you can confide in me privately because this undoing of the pronouns are like rewiring the parent's brain. It's rough at times.
I catch myself. So I'll say she, but then I'll be like they. And it's, you know, I don't want to hurt that relationship because I know how bad mine and my mother's relationship is. I never want that to be bad.
I feel the same. And it's that thing that you just want better for your children. You just totally, and even though we have gone through all these things and may have made us stronger. Your incense. I had to take my incense out. I moved it to the kitchen because I came back in and it was like a cloud. I'm like, whoa, patchouli. Like,
whoa.
I was like, so why my eyes are a little like, and I'm like, I put tinted moisturizer on and a little bit of mascara for you. Those
I know. I was like, before I was like, oh, do I want to put makeup on if I start to cry? But I haven't. The last time I cried about this whole situation with my mom was on, not because of sadness, but more so because of anger. It was on my son's birthday, which was in, beginning of February. And my sister-in-law asked, questions about my mom. And I was just like, oh, can we not do that?
Not today.
It was more so like, I'm still angry at this situation because there's just so much hurt. She found out that my father-in-law had passed. And so she had called me back in August. So we tried to kind of sort of work on a relationship. Then I don't even know what happened, to be honest. September, beginning of October came. She wouldn't pick up the phone when I called. So I was like, okay, we were working on we were working on this. And then, I don't know. I have no idea what happened. She still hasn't called me or talked to me. The reason why I came up with my new name, Miss Lucy Morningstar, is because she calls me the devil. So I thought that would be kind of cute and appropriate, just to be like, okay, you're gonna call me the devil, I'll make a name out of it.
That explains the horns. The horns today. Such a rebel. Got that little streak in you. That's what I love. I love it.
So I have recently started to get into astrology. So like I have found out like a lot of my the most sign that I have in my chart is Sagittarius. I'm a Sag already. So like I just was like, oh, does that make me a little bit like no. I push back a little bit. And it's funny is my sun sign is Sag, and then I am a Virgo for my rising, and then my moon is an Aries. My first kiddo is an Aries, and their moon sign is a Sag, and then their rising sign is a Virgo. We have the exact same three.
But it's like
it's just switched.
Mainly I think your rising is more of your personality. I guess what that is, Snow is in the chat. Let me tell you, if y'all need questions, I actually hire Snow to for certain things. So like when people are doing custom, coming to me for custom work, I actually go to Snow and pay her because she is amazing. And she will tell me.
Yes, she is amazing.
Amazing. She will tell me when to take in the stuff or start to collect the things, when to start throwing the energy, when to start to actually do the spell work, like when to wrap it up. Like Snow is Snow, you need your own business of consulting, organizing of witches. Yes. Because Snow helped me sell my house for sure. Absolutely. Okay, I share this room with the cats, and the cat decided that now is the time to use the litter box. So I'm gonna mute and gonna let you talk.
Okay. I don't know what to talk about, but I can look at the chat.
You can talk about cat poop if you want.
No cat poop. I have a dog, so dog poop. Yeah. He's like looking at me.
She's a mess. She's a mess. This is Siggy. Oh. Okay, so how are your kids dealing with kind of being orphaned by your mom?
So after, okay, let's say this. My son was very much wanted by my mother. I think that hurt. My mom has a very good connection with the boys of the family, not the girls. So my older kiddo didn't have that connection with her. She would ask for her or them to stay the night and then be like, not do anything with them. Like kind of just stick them in like her library and let her read type of situation, and then not have anything to do with them. It was hard for my son because I have younger brothers. So I have a brother that is going to be turning 17, I think, in April. And then my older kiddo and then my younger brother are only born a day apart. So they were kind of close. Excuse me. And it's just been really hard for my older kiddo. They were like, I just don't care. I don't want nothing to do. She's not going to accept me for me anyways, you know. Not going to like love me for me. So I think that was kind of hard for them. And then on top of losing my mom, then they lost my father-in-law. So it's been a rough year for them. And they were pretty close with my father-in-law.
Wow. It's sad. It's really sad. I got my artistic ability from my mother. And trying to think anything else. I don't know. I think that they had witchy tendencies or some spiritual gifts type thing, but I don't think that they did anything with it. But my drawing ability or my artistic ability definitely came from my mother, did not come from my father.
Yeah, that's mine too.
It's like I can I can make my own stuff, but at a young age I can just like look at something and copy it. And people would think that it was a copy of what I'd done. So copy, I guess I'm a copycat, but I do make my own things as well. But I wish, and then so Ridley got that from, them and me. And it's just amazing and sad that the way genetics work, and I wish that they would have been able to have that connection with a grandparent like that. Ridley's grandparents were basically their biological, which were all on their dad's side, and that didn't go well. And then Bear's parents, which passed away pretty young. So, and I just feel sad that they don't have that. And then now my dad has decided to go all QAnon and weird, and I've had to just recently divorce him. And I feel a bit of an orphan, but my parents are still alive, and it's weird.
Yeah,
it's
that's how I feel. My dad, I call him the sperm donor because we've had zero. I gotta see him when I was from the age of, I want to say 3, 4 to about 12. And then about 12, I'm a shy person normally. I don't normally come, like people always like, you're shy? And I'm like, yes, I'm like in person. I'm like really, really shy, and I'm like Ricky Bobby, and I don't know what to do with my hands, and I'm just weird and awkward. Like, that's my husband. I'm just like really awkward. And
I've met you in person in your driveway, and you're not awkward, but you were shy. Yeah. So it's like I had to like pull it out of you. It feels I think you're more comfortable with me, but at first it's like, oh my God, raven flowers in my driveway. I'm like, I'm just a human being. I'm gonna do nothing.
I was like, when after you left, I was like, oh my God, that was raven flower.
Don't worry. I almost peed myself when I met Tequila the first time. Like I was just like on the other side. I was all dressed up like this big witch and witchy meet and greet. I'm like, oh my God. It's over there. I was like, oh my God, she looked at me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah, so like my dad was like basically just said that I was a rude kid, said that I had no manners, I was rude, and my grandma, his mom at the time, he was adopted, so he doesn't know any of his family stuff, nothing.
Okay.
So like trying to get any family information from him was very hard, like growing up and all that, because he didn't know he was adopted. But the lady who adopted him was very, very mean. Very, very mean. Very mean to me. She recently passed, and my cousin was like, "Hey, Grandma wanted to see you before she passed," and he like kind of yelled at me over Facebook Messenger, and I was like, "Pauline, is that you're talking about Pauline?" I was like, "She's not my grandma. She never was my grandma." When my grandpa died, my dad's dad, when he died, um, he was the only one who wanted me, who like wanted to have any relationship with me. Didn't really get that. But I was very kind of offended because me and my dad had fallen out of touch. My grandpa died. I got invited to the funeral. They had all these pictures of all the grandkids, but none of me. And then when we were, and so it was kind of weird to even be there because I kind of felt very awkward, you know? And my dad was like, "Oh, I'm sorry that there's like nothing of you," because he kind of saw like me looking around like, "Why am I even here?" You know, you guys didn't want me, wanted nothing to do with me my whole entire life, and then you invite me to this, and it kind of felt like a smack in the face, you know.
Yeah.
So I after that I had never talked to my dad. Somehow he found out my address, and I think it's because my uncle, his brother-in-law, is the chief of police down in Woodland, which is like Lower Washington. He's the chief of police, so I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming he kind of did like a search for me for my address, you know, all that. But I got an invitation to his wedding. I got a birth announcement of his child. And every year for the last, I want to say 2-3 years, I've gotten a Christmas card, and that hurts, I think, because it just makes me feel like you did not want me my entire life. And these cards have nothing in them, no writing, no nothing. It's just kind of like, here's my family that I've created, or at least that's what it feels like they're doing. And I don't know if it's him or his new wife.
Ooh, yeah. Is it like psychological warfare type situation? Like here's another rib, dig?
Yeah. And so I don't know, but I have a scar on my hand. I can't remember which hand. You can kind of see it in the light, but I was cutting an avocado, and I went through avocado. It was like right after I found out that he decided he was gonna let me know that he was having another kid, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't get this avocado seed, you know, out, and I was just so mad, and I stabbed my own hand, and now I have a scar to remind me of that. But it was really rough. It's been really rough, and I feel like I've handled it pretty well. I feel like when we go to the doctor, my kids have the same doctor as my brothers, and the doctor's like, you were like one of the most normal people in your family. He's like, how did you be so normal?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That offended my mom because she had found out that he had said that, and she's like, I can't believe he said that. And I was like, what do you mean you can't believe he said that? Like, what?
Like, hello. Hello.
Yeah.
No, it's probably because she can't get past the horns. She's like, she's the devil.
Yeah. She's I don't know what is wrong with her now, but my stepdad's brother is I think part of the problem. I don't want to call him my stepdad, my mom's husband. I think his brother's part of the problem because he was telling her like, and Matt, that I don't know how to explain this. He's like, don't put a Christmas tree in your house because that's pagan. Don't do this, don't do that. Don't let your kids believe in Santa, like all this other stuff. And my mom's like, why would I do that? But we're like so far down the road, I feel like she's kind of started to believe everything, you know, that he's putting out there and all this information. And she allowed him to marry them during the pandemic. And he's never been nice to my mom's husband. Never really. He hired him, and it was kind of some shady stuff. And then, you know, it's just like this weird. And she like, I was like, why do you listen to him? Why are you listening to him? So I don't know if that's part of the problem. But my mom is very very racist. My mom is very mean-spirited now, and I don't know what changed.
You know, it sounds a lot like my dad deciding to go down the QAnon path. Like, I didn't understand where all of this, like, extreme nastiness.
Yeah, it's
extreme nastiness came from.
My brothers are Mexican. Her husband is Mexican. My sister is Mexican. Like, I just, yeah, explain that to me. My little brother, he's
oh my God.
He has autism, or he's on the spectrum, I guess, because he has Asperger's, and that's not technically autism. But he's a very literal kid, and so she will tell him, "Oh, you're not Mexican, you're white," and it's like, no, tell him that he's both. Because, like, how can you look like? If I was her husband, I'd be like, "Excuse me, what?" Like, you know?
No. Okay. Yeah. All right. That just, it reminds me. Good.
I was just, I'm kind of glad now that I have gotten over the shock of, and, you know, of everything with my mom. I'm glad that relationship is over. It's made me see a lot of like stuff that I used to do. Then now that I'm catching myself, now that I'm trying to work through my shadow work, I'm like, oh crap, that's my mom. I got that from her. Like, that's not me. Why am I doing this? So like,
that's hard. That's hard. When you start, when stuff flies out of your mouth that is your mother, you're just like, oh my God, what did I just say? And it just came out. And then you realize, no, I really meant that. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm my mom. I'm not my mom, but
yeah, I do that. I catch myself a lot doing that. Yeah. Or like, so she's like the type who likes to complain about anything. And if she doesn't have something to complain about, she'll find something to complain about. And I would notice that I was doing that too there for a while. And I've been trying to catch myself, been like, okay, I need to stop complaining. There's no reason to complain, you know?
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah. Why am I complaining about this?
Why am I complaining about this? You know, so one of the people that I work with at work, I think that his way of communicating is through complaint. And it's he just really, I think, wants attention because he's lonely, I think is what the deal is. But it comes through complaint. And so myself and the other like management is just like, okay, so we need to fix this and this and this and this, which only makes him angry. And the other day we just had a meeting. It was just like, well, then he can stop complaining. I'm like, he's like, you get what you ask for. You know, you be careful what you ask for. And I was just cracking up, and I'm like, oh, well, okay, that's a thing. But it's true. Aiden had touched on something last night in regards to like gossip can be addicting. You know, for like, especially when you're in the church and things like that. But anytime people, it's natural for people to size each other up and judge them, because it actually, people are like, oh, you shouldn't judge. It's actually inherent, instinctual to judge somebody else because you're sizing them up. It's just natural. It's defense. So anybody who has gone through any type of trauma, we are very judgy people, very picky people, and we have to sort of hold it in, I guess, you know. But I feel like I had a point. I had a point there I was going. So like there's the judgment, the talking, and the complaining. Okay. So let me back up. Let me finish this coffee. Maybe I need more coffee. That was it. Okay, so
yeah, I have a big cup of coffee.
I'm almost to the end of mine, but you know the complaining. Getting back to your point, the complaining, the judgment, and the kind of like the rumor mill or whatever is all something that can be very addictive, and I it's hard because you are trying to share. Like I could never understand, like, why does somebody ask me how I am and then they're mad because I tell them.
Yeah, that.
Like, don't ask me if you don't want to know, because I'll be like, well, Thursday I fell down the stairs and then it snowed and then blah 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 blah. I'm gonna go like the long way and like through hoops and all of that stuff, and everybody's just like, you could have just said fine.
Yeah. When I was talking to my husband before I got on here, I was like, I am a horrible storyteller. So I was like, I'll be right here. Here's the story at the beginning, and then I'll go this way, and then come back around, and then like, okay, what was I talking about again?
There's a meme that shows, you know, here's the point, here's my story. I begin here and it goes,
yeah, that's me.
Go back to over here and then back to whatever. But my point was, yes, that is a thing. And then I mispronounce words constantly because
that's me. That's me. I will like say things. There are so many words that I just don't even try anymore because I'm just like, my mouth just gets in the way. I can't say it. Yeah. Like my family, I don't know the word that they make fun of me. Oh, I say onions I add a G, and they're like, no, that's not how you say it. And I'm like, I don't know how to say it any other way.
I was that way with it was breakfast. It was breakfast, not breakfast. You know, it was breakfast. It was the word that I could say. Oh my gosh. Okay, are you ready for questions?
Yeah.
Okay, people, if you have questions, stick them in the chat in all caps, and I'll bring them on the screen for Tara. What was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you, I know that you were going to come to Witchy Meet and Greet in 2020, like totally screwed my plans for Witchy Meet and Greet, and you were going to come. And in fact, I have your tickets right here. Still have your tickets. Like they're right here. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do another Witchy Meet and Greet soon. Is the plan? But look, yeah, see here's your tickets. Welcome, welcome to Witchy Meet and Greet. But you're not far from me. You're, well, I mean, I say relatively. I don't think that Washington State is hard to navigate around because I was in Texas for so long, and trying to get out of Texas is quite difficult. So, oh, we got a question. Wow, people have been asking questions. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, what keeps me motivated? Honestly, I don't know that one because this year I have gained 30 pounds. Well, 2020 I gained 30 pounds, and it's been really hard to keep motivated. I think just December I was just like, okay, enough is enough. I'm tired of eating my feelings. I'm tired of just being so badly just negative about myself. I was like, I got to start doing something again. But also with the eating healthy, it also stems from just like my heart. I don't want to have surgery. I don't want to have to, anything. There's the hubby.
Hi, hub.
They say hi.
It's like, I'm hiding. I'm hiding in the kitchen. Yep. Okay, next one from Aiden.
What is my favorite form? Okay, there's a lot of witchcraft that I like. I have, I just am eclectic, so I kind of don't have a set path. But I do a lot of candle magic. I don't know, I feel like I've had a calling to go a little bit darker within my magic, and I don't know what that's about. I haven't really explored that yet, just because I really didn't do any magic at all 2020. And I think that was part of my problem in 2020 was I just stopped doing everything that I love. So I'm kind of just, I feel like I want to, like I'm like a new witch again. I'm like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? What can I get my hands in? So I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I am connecting with more darker deities. So I do work with Hecate already, but I have had a feeling to work with like, there's a couple of them. Lilith. I would kind of like to work with Lilith, Baphomet, and Hades. Hades has been kind of knocking at the door, kind of like, hey, you know, hey, open up. But I'm kind of just like, I don't know what this means. You know, like
it's scary. It's scary when new deities come around. You're just like, whoa, what is that energy?
Because like I work with Thor already. Thor has been part of my life as like little things that I have seen as a kid. I feel like Thor was kind of like there and more like a protector of me as a child.
I love
when I was little, I had a very hard childhood, obviously, you know, and so like there were little things was just like, okay, now that I'm adult, I'm like, oh, that was Thor. That was, you know, was it God? It wasn't this. It was Thor. Like now that I know who he was as a, you know, as a deity, and I've looked into him and just like the little signs and stuff, and you know, it's kind of cool that. But now that I have other deities, kind of like, you know, hey, look at me, pay attention.
It's your choice if you want to work with them. You know that, right?
Yeah.
It's your choice. Like if some people are like, oh, they came to me, so I have to. Nope. It's a working with. It's not a working for. Yeah.
Because like my kiddo was like, he's like, have you ever heard of all the stuff on TikTok where people are like talking about Apollo and stuff? And I'm like, I've heard it. I was like, I don't like it. I don't think that it's like, if you were watching stuff like that, come to me, ask me questions first. You know, like, don't believe everything you hear on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok, witch talk in particular. I have apprehensions.
Yeah.
I don't.
At first I was like, oh, this is really cool. There's another place to, you know, look and get information. And then it just kind of started to get really, really bad. And I was like, okay, I'm going to remove myself from there.
I think I was out with the whole cursing of the moon situation.
Yeah.
Like, what? Are you, what?
I laughed and my head like, can you stop talking about this now? Like, it's over and done with. I was like, I know, but I was like, people are still doing it. Okay.
It's just like, okay, all right, whatever. Okay, all right, next question from Jennifer.
Okay, so what started me, there's a story from when I was little. I'll share that. We lived in a haunted house. And my room in particular must have been a witchy room for somebody. It must have been a witch's room. In the closet of my room, underneath a floorboard, there was a witch's grimoire that was found. And I slept perfectly fine in that room as a child. My mom never understood why. I was just, I slept like the best sleep ever when we lived there. But what made us move is my bed was going like this, up and down. I was asleep. No, nothing. I didn't, nothing. But in the closet was my mom's boyfriend's kid reading from that grimoire. And my bed was moving. And when I was younger, there was a pastor who came up to me and he looked at me and he said, you are going to do good things in your life. And he was like, but you got to stay on the right path. And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, I'm here at church. What are you talking about? Like, I had no idea. And then as I got
sounds like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Like,
as I got older, I kind of looked into more of that stuff, but I was told, hey, that is of the devil. You cannot do these things. So like when I was younger, I had like I could see and hear people who had passed or whatever. And then my mom was like, no, you can't, don't do that. That is of the devil. Like, do not do that. Do not communicate. I used to have really bad nightmares. There's a lot that went on with me, like psychic wise. And then
probably went through that phase feeling like you're crazy because nobody else can see them. Like now you have to pretend like you don't see them. Yeah.
So it was probably around like 11, 12 is when I stopped seeing things and stopped hearing things. It probably like just shoved it out. And then so then my cousin, she was in an argument with my other cousin, and I was like trying to defend her, and I was like, wait, I can't defend her because I don't even believe those things anymore. I was like, if God is this almighty God and loves everybody, why does he not love gays, or why does he not love these people, or all this other stuff? And so I was like, okay, I need to reevaluate myself and what's going on. And then I stumbled on Lady Grave Dancer video about like amethyst oil, and that's when I was like, oh, hey, there's another whole world out here that I had no idea existed.
I really got to give props. I know Aiden was talking about Tiptoe Witch, which I had watched some of their channel, but I really, like, when I was trying to figure out my path, I stumbled on Trina, and then Trina had told, or Sunshine, and then because with all of the herbal stuff, which is why I'm going to try to keep that going, that herbal 101, and then introduced me to tequila, and that was a pivotal moment for me in my craft. I didn't because I'm a Virgo, I'm like, it has to be one way. It has to be the right way. And I got to make sure I'm not messing it up. And I had like put all this pressure on myself. I'm like, how come I don't have a deity? I should have a deity by now. I should, like, what's going on? And Trina is more Appalachian magic is from previous conversation. So there's a certain way for her to do things, and she is very knowledgeable. So she'll tell you how to work with various things. And I think that when I was introduced to tequila and tequila's channel, I really understood what eclectic magic really is. And building your practice to suit your own needs, where I didn't think was a thing. But then when you pick up one book and it says roses are used for this, and then you pick up another book and this guy says roses are used for that, and I'm like, oh my God, this whole path is customizable.
That's like me. Like I like with crystals, I use probably some of the crystals that are like, oh, that's not used for that. I'm like, but it works for me. So
it works.
I'm going to continue to do it that way. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but Or this is used for this, and it's like, okay.
I use it for this. Yeah. That's when some people are just like, okay, wait a minute. Your protection candle has like it's dragon blood smell, and I'm like, yes, it's dragon blood, brick dust, tiger's eye, clear quartz, rosemary. I mean, there's all this stuff in there. I mean, it literally is a spell. And they're like, rosemary for protection? Like, it's just like, stop asking and just try it. Just try it. Just try it.
I tell everybody, like, when they're talking to me about like, oh, candle magic and stuff, I'm like, go to Raven.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Or like I was talking about my necklace yesterday, and I was like, "Yep, got it from Raven."
That's right,
because this is the crystal. Yeah, and I horribly wire wrapped it, but I wanted to wear it because it was just so. I was like, I felt this really good energy from it. I was like, I'm gonna wire wrap that. I have no idea what I'm doing.
When I do get the crystals, I have a whole process because I had personally gotten crystals online, and there's a lot of people that don't have metaphysical shops or witchy shops in their area, so they're reduced to getting things online. And when they come in, they just feel awful. They're just like, ugh, I don't like it. So there's certain things like especially coming up when the garden is in bloom and stuff is happening. There are times that I will put crystals out there to stay for a cycle, a moon, whatever, but I have to do a massive cleansing, and sometimes I have to do it twice or 3 times. And then I carry them around. I set them on various altars for different types of purposes. So I spend a lot of time with my crystals. So if they're not always available on Raven Flower Designs, now you know why. So there's a lot of work. There's a lot of
Oh, and then my go-to form of magic, I think more is just candle magic, is what I was gonna say, but I didn't answer that.
Oh, well, we went the long way around.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's another one. And I don't even know what this is. The old lady in me. What?
Bar, I feel like is a mixture of Pilates, kind of ballet, kind of stuff like that. Beachbody is the one that I was doing their program, and I love it. It's hard, but I wasn't really seeing the results that I wanted to, and it also could be because I wasn't following they give you a nutrition program, but now their new thing is they are charging for that nutrition program like $100 or more. And it's like, I don't want to do that. So I'll figure out I quit being a Beachbody coach March of last year because it was just the coaching aspect. I did not want to believe that it was as bad as it was. But I definitely had a really bad coach who was very mean to me. She did not like me because I was a witch, but somehow she had, got me. She's talking about her dog, and I felt bad because her dog had died. And I was like, oh, okay, we kind of are the same, because we were talking back and forth. And then, no, she's also very, she's Trumpy is the right word, to describe her. But she was very mean during this 2020 thing. She was just very mean. I was like, I'm done coaching. I can't do it anymore. It was just like what I saw from like the behind the scene coaching stuff. I was like, I can't support that anymore. So I quit doing that, but I still do the workouts because the workouts work if you do the work. So right now I'm doing Muscle Burns Fat, which is a new program that they came out with, I guess, after I had quit coaching. And I'm really, really loving it. So I don't know. We'll see.
I just got a yoga thing, and it's like yoga Pilates mix. I think it's a fusion, yoga fusion, workout tape or DVD that I was going to start with. And then I thought I found this video for hula dancing.
Oh, I used to love, one thing that I want to try, and I don't know if I have the guts to do it because I am shy, but I would love to do burlesque. I think that is the coolest thing, but I'm just way too nervous.
It's interesting that you say so, because my friend Meredith will be on, I believe, the 6th. I think she's on the 6th, and she's going to talk about all different kinds of stuff. Have you ever seen her thing on my channel, her whole routine that she had done? Yeah, Saturday the 6th, she'll be on. Search, maybe I'll put a link in the description box. I know that we were talking last night to Aiden. Raven, reminder to do an in-screen ending of my Queen Mary video because we were talking about ghosts, and I'll put one here of Meredith doing her have you ever seen Chicago, what's good for mama? Okay, she does that whole routine, and it's amazing. And she allowed me to tape it while we were in New Orleans. She was performing at Dirty Dime Peep Show, and it was all one floor, we're all on the same floor, and it was an interesting experience because I have stripper history. And my stripper history is you were on a stage, there was a moat between you and the guys, and you didn't really interact with the audience. So this was a totally different art form for me. And when I say I was a stripper, let me just be very clear, I was not a good stripper. I stay away from that pole because I would fall off. I mean, so bad. I was cute, okay? I was cute. I was a size 6 and cute. Anywho, Meredith will be on, and you should definitely tune in for that one. She's pretty damn amazing. Yeah. She's pretty cool. She's really tall, too. I'm just very statuesque, this woman. Okay, I'm not sure if there are any more questions, but is there anything else anybody has for Miss Tara? And Miss Tara, do you have any closing questions or any of that stuff?
Okay, I see another one.
You see another one where?
At the very bottom, it says, do you use tarot or oracle cards? If so, what's your favorite deck? I use oracle. I don't have it in front of me, which I'm kind of surprised, but it's the Halloween Oracle. That is my favorite deck. I do have in front of me, though, with that bar program from Beachbody, they came out with like I am statement cards.
Oh, nice. Affirmations?
Yeah, so I have those in front of me. But I got the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck.
Ooh, I have it in my cart. I want it so bad. I was going to get it, but I didn't do it.
I love it, but I'm just new at tarot because I have a hard time. Sometimes I have a hard time just like shutting my brain off and just connecting with the cards and just kind of be like, okay, I think I have ADHD, to be honest. Because I feel like I can't shut my brain off a lot of the time. So like I'll just be sitting there and I'll be like, okay, I'm doing this, but I'm thinking of this, and I'm, like my kids will be like, why are you dancing? And I'm like, I don't know. why are you doing this? I was like, I don't know.
Oh, I'm going with flow. Going with the flow. Oh my gosh. I love Nightmare Before Christmas. Although that, Nightmare Before Christmas, again, showing my age, came out, I believe, right after my senior year. So I was just high school graduate, and it was like a big deal. We're like, who is this Tim Burton guy? What the heck is going on? And that was amazing. It was like a game changer. Yeah.
I love Halloween. Halloween is just like my favorite time of the year. Like
I've got the Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween Village.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It makes me so happy. Every time I put it up, I'm like, ee! I'm so excited.
I know, like we were talking about redecorating the house, and I was like, but I can't. There's just Halloween everywhere. I don't know if you can see, but in my hutch behind me, I have Nightmare Before Christmas. I have Sam from Trick or Treat. I've got a lot of Halloween in there.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. One time when the kids were in middle school, I was going to pick them up from school, and it was Halloween, and I rolled down all the windows and I blasted the Marilyn Manson version.
Mm-hmm.
I was picking them up just so that I could piss off the other parents.
So my kids hated on Halloween. They hated it, but they loved it. When they were in elementary school, I would come in, and that was when I was like learning how to do Halloween makeup. And so like during the month of October, I'd come in with Halloween makeup on, and everybody like, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you wearing? And I live in a Mormon area, so imagine all the looks that I got. the oh my God, look at her.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love that, despite where you're at, and I was going to talk about this, like when I went to go see you, it's like the energy sort of changed, and it felt like I was in Trumpville all of a sudden. I'm like,
it is.
What's going on? Like, I'm like, is this the Pacific Northwest? Like, what's happening right now? There's like this little spot you live in.
For some reason, our little town decided, hey, that's a good idea. Like, let's support Trump. And we had a lot, like our Walmart, like our town's little, like you saw, it's a little town. We haven't had very many like murders or that type of stuff, but during this whole 2020 thing, we had shootings at our Walmart because somebody said something to somebody, and we have a lady who incites things. Like, she's the gun shop owner here. And so she was inciting everybody on Facebook, talking about like, Antifa coming up here and trying to steal guns and, you know, all this other stuff. And none of it was true. Never had heard anything about it until she had put it on the internet. So then we had a bunch of guys in their lifted trucks with their Trump flags going, and it felt very unsafe there for a little while.
When we were coming to you, that's what we had passed. We had passed a bunch of like camo trucks, you know, that were really tall with great big Trump flags, and they were peeling out and also stuff. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what the heck is going on?
This is where my husband was born, raised, you know, so we stayed here. And it's just been, I don't know, this year's like, you see a lot of different people that you hang out and you're like, why are you acting that way? Why are you being like that? But we went into, one of the things that was very hard to watch is we went into Walmart, and there was a white woman, her black husband, and their kids, and there was an older man with the Confederate flag on, and she's like, you're not going down that aisle. She's like, you are not going down there. And I felt so bad for them. And I told them, I was like, I am sorry that is what's happening to you right now. I am so sorry. You know, like, I am sorry. Like, that's all I could say over and over again. And like, growing up, I had black friends. I had friends that were, you know, Mexican, of all different races. And I was like, how can people just be so mean and hateful? And especially in this little town that I'm in, you know, like, how are you? And then my kiddo, they were like, hey, this is what's going on Snapchat in our town. This is what's going on, you know, on Instagram. And they weren't feeling safe. So like for school, we decided not to let them go back to school. We were doing virtual because because of everything that's happened over this last, you know, year, I don't feel safe putting them back in just yet.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, you know, there's certain people that thrive with, you know, virtual learning. I mean, some people have to be in person, but, you know, given another go around, I think that at least two of my kids would have done well. One of them just challenged me on everything.
So both of them are very good students. Both of them are very good. We never have like a bad, you know, my older kiddo was like getting C's this year during virtual because they thrive in the classroom, you know?
Yeah.
And so when they got a C, they're like, oh my God, I'm the worst student. I'm this, I'm that. Like, no, you're living through a pandemic and you're living through virtual learning. Like, it's okay. And they expect themselves to have A's, all straight A's. And that's what they've had most of their, you know.
Okay.
So they're used to that.
They're being hard on themselves. Yeah.
And then my son's like, hey, can I play Fortnite? Can I do this?
I'm glad that I didn't have to go through that. These poor parents. My neighbor across the street, Jenny, I can hear, she had to, like, her husband works 2 jobs, but they had to shift it so that she could be at home with the kids and then make sure they're logging into all these other things. Like, there were like 4 Zoom meetings a day per kid, plus like tutoring time and also stuff. Like, she was like going through it. I was delivering bottles of wine to support my local teachers.
I'm lucky. I'm lucky that you know, we had when we had the kids that I got to be a stay-at-home mom. But it's not easy, especially like you're like going in I have to go in one room and then go in the other room, and then I'm like, hey, are you logged on? Or like going in and checking, like making sure they're not asleep while they're logged on.
Nice.
Both of them fell asleep one time, and they've never they're like, oh my God, that was so embarrassing. So they've never done it again.
Because the camera's still on, so their fellow students are watching them snore, right? That would be embarrassing.
It was embarrassing, especially for my son, because this is his first year of middle school, so he doesn't know what like actual middle school's like, you know. But he was like logging in, and it was like his first period class. He started to log in and then just fell right asleep. And then I was like, wait, he didn't come out of his room after first period. Let me go check. And he was asleep camera was on, you know. And I was just like, hey, wake up. He's like, oh crap.
I love it. That's funny. I mean, it's not good, but it is really funny.
Mm-hmm.
I can see my son doing the exact same thing. Oh my gosh. Well, in some ways, it's nice that he doesn't know what middle school is really like, because that is when it changes. That's when it happens. Yep.
I know. And he's very shy like me, but I say he has a little bit of autism as well. I think just little quirks about him. We'd never have him formally diagnosed or anything, but I always worry because like he's my very tender-hearted child. So like I'm worried for when he goes to middle school like that. It's gonna be hard.
Middle school can change a person, man.
Oh
it's
my first kiddo went in wearing like really cute like girly clothes, crop tops, all that type of stuff, and then now sweatshirts. Like they cut all their hair off and they have a split dye and like totally different now.
Totally different. That's something that is here in Washington State that they don't care so much about, but in Texas, like if a guy painted his fingernails or if you had like hair that wasn't a traditional color, like they'd send your kids home. Like it was so conservative. It was stupid. It's like that has nothing to do with their learning. Like
when I went to school, like when I went to the high school here, I got sent home for my shorts being a little too short, and I was like, whoa, I've never had that happen before. Like when I lived down in my hometown before, I was a cheerleader. Our skirts were the panel skirts, and we were in underwear and the skirt. Like we didn't get dress coded, So I was like, why am I being dress coded for something? I was like, I can't help it that I'm tall. Like, what am I supposed to wear?
What can I do about it?
But now it's more. The kiddos say that it's more. Girls have more dress code than boys.
Yeah.
You just said what my dance team that I was on was called the Kilties, and they called us the Clitties because of how short our dresses were.
That's hilarious. That is.
Yeah. I love how you just come out of the room and just burst out with that. I know. I was like, hey, do you want to be on the live with me? Because I was like, he's going to be on the live, come out of the room. I was like, you can just probably take over. He's like, yeah, probably. I'd probably take over.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, we are over our hour and questions have gone away. So I think we will end here. And I just want to thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. It is a very I really feel like each story is completely different, and not everybody has to, go like super, super deep. We're all dealing with different things, but, the fact that you came out about your family and that whole transition and that whole situation is more common than a lot of people really think,
I didn't think it was something that was like, I thought like I was like for a while, like, I got to keep this secret because it was so like, I felt so like, okay, no one else is going through this. And no. When I finally started to open up about it, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you feel like talking about it helps you a little bit? I started being transparent about it for myself as well, even though it hurts. There are days that you're totally fine. And then there's days that you're just like, God, I wish I could just call my dad, but it's not safe to do so. It's not safe for me. It's not safe for my kids. It's just not safe any longer to do so. And, it's hurtful. And then there's other days like, I don't need that man in my life. I don't like, I'm doing what I gotta do,
It's hard too. Cause with what went on, with losing my father-in-law, it kind of felt like I wanted to have to be able to help my husband with something. And I was like, I can't call my mom to ask those questions, to be like, hey, how do I help him, through this? And she wasn't there to help. She was there to,
Sorry. Well, you're not alone. You are not alone. There's so many of us going through that. There's family estrangement seems to be like one of the big ones. One of the big ones. And very difficult, not only because part of being the LGBTQ community is tough enough as it is with families, but and then adding the witch stuff too. And I've had to do that, and had just recently come out to pretty much everybody about it. I still don't know if my sister saw the post, but not. I've just gotten to a point where I'm just not denying anything anymore. It's just like, yeah, and that's what I did. The handle actually is Raven Flower Designs. Like, what's Raven Flower Designs? And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. The only person that I think doesn't know is my grandma, but she also has Alzheimer's. How do you say that? Alzheimer's. She's,
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, she doesn't. I don't think she would remember anyway if she was told. So me and my grandma were very close. So I don't think I could handle it if she knew that I was a witch. Because I just don't think she would accept it, or I know she wouldn't.
She wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. There was a long time that I didn't say anything because there were these people in my life that, meant a whole lot to me. And my grandparents that are missionaries in the Philippines right now, are the last, I think, out of that group of people that I didn't want to hurt. But I got to a point where I'm like, I can't keep living my life so that they can feel comfortable.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel.
It's so restricting. And, I've noticed that there's a difference also in my magic and my communication with others and just my life. It's like a weight that's lifted off my shoulders. Now, saying that, going into certain areas and, you feel like, oh my gosh, I gotta make sure I'm not wearing rainbow anything, or that type of stuff. Like I didn't feel comfortable to do this in Texas. There's no way.
I have a necklace. It's not on me, but it's just my pentagram necklace that I would wear. And when we'd go to my mom's for stuff, I would just tuck it in. I try to make sure that it never, it would never come out of what I was wearing. One time I let it be out and I forgot. And I think that's when my mom started to kind of put the dots together, oh, okay, that's what's going on.
Gotcha. Yeah. Ooh, that's rough. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, you're very. I think
it's hard, just not being able to the dog not wanting to go out. Okay. Not being able just to be authentically you in front of your family, that just sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky that my husband, he don't care. I'm lucky that my kids, they don't care. My son's just like, when he first heard that I said that, when I said it out loud that I was a witch, he was like, you're not a witch, you're not ugly, you don't have, you're not green, you're not green. You're not all these things. And then I think now it's been so long, he's kind of like, oh, okay. He finally lets me in their backpacks. Before the pandemic, but I would put, protection spells, but I would put a bay leaf in their backpacks. And he finally before that, he's like, okay, I'm not going to take this out. I'm going to leave it in. She said, leave it in. So I think he's finally, accepting it. But for him, I think when you say you're a witch, he automatically thought of cartoon witches, or how witches are portrayed in movies and stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't. If I had a superpower, my superpower would be fire in my hands.
I love it.
Yeah. My favorite thing that I saw was Discovery of Witches, that new show that came out on Amazon Prime.
Okay, so that's what I'm doing today, because Sterling was in the chat. I don't know if she's still there, but turned me on to it. Said something like,
I have the book.
I'm starting it today.
Yeah, but like the very last episode of the first season is just like the fire, and I was like, oh my god, if I could have that, I would. Witch fire.
Fire.
I know it's funny because like I say, I do a lot of candle magic, but like for me, like it sounds really weird to say it out loud, but I like fire. I like being able to focus. When our power went out not that long ago, I want to tell this. We had candles. I had all my candles going, and I don't have just regular candles. I've got witchy candles that I've gotten over like subscription boxes. Your candles, like I just have witchy candles. And we had this candle sitting in the bathroom, and it was just going and just going. And we have somebody here, and I don't know who it is. I've heard them, and I can't understand what they're saying quite yet.
Is that the male presence? The male presence?
It is a male presence, yes. And so that candle was moving. And I was like, I would get to it, and it would stop, and it would just be straight up. And I'm like, okay, I know that you need me. I can't give you what you need right now. And then I'd go away, and the kids are watching, and then it would just go like this and just be all over the place. And I was like, what? We have no heat. We have no, the power is out. It's midnight. Like, yeah. I see you.
I see you, but I can't do anything about it right now. It's good to communicate with them openly about that, especially if you're like run down and you're not able to do anything. Otherwise, they will just pester the holy crap out of you. They really will.
And now that my husband is not here, I can say this openly, but he has not let me cleanse the space in a year almost, because he's afraid of his dad being shooed away. And I was like, I would never, ever, ever do that to your dad. Yeah. Recently, his mom and his sister were saying, like, I want to see a psychic about how, he's doing. And I was like, I've said several times, I've heard his voice. Like, do you not hear me? Do you not see me? Like, hey, I'm right here. I may not give you what you're looking for psychic-wise. Like they want the Teresa, Long Island medium experience. But
I love her. I love her. I love her. I love her.
And I was just like, I can't give you that, but I was like, I'm learning. I got the psychic witch book that came out from, I can't say last name, but Matt.
Yeah, with the owl on the cover, the black book with the owl.
Yep. I've been reading that, trying to like help myself. I've been trying to just like quiet my mind and just listen. There'll be times where I'll be sitting there. Like the other day, I had the weirdest experience. I was sitting there, and when a TV show is going from TV show to commercial, and it's just that very moment of quiet.
Yeah.
I had somebody yell, "Mama," like "Mama" out loud, and I was like, I came running. I was like, what? Because it sounded as if, that child cry when they get hurt, and you're just like, what? Everybody, my older kiddo was asleep. They didn't yell it. They had their door shut. My son was playing video games, and I came in. I was like, what? He's like, what? Like, what? Why are you bugging me? And I was like, you didn't yell, Mama? He's like, no. And I was like, crap. Okay. So then I was sitting there, and I paused the thing, and I went on Instagram, and I was like, has anybody ever had this happen? Because like, it kind of scared me. Because I had been hearing a male previous to that. Now it was a female. And the night before that, right before I fell asleep, I heard somebody scream in my ear, and I like jolted up, and I told my husband, I was like, somebody just screamed at me. And he was like, you're falling asleep. It's okay. Like he's trying to like play it off as like, don't start stressing and getting scared. Cause like this used to happen to me as a kid. So now I'm kind of like, okay, this stuff is re-happening again. So now I've got to get back in tune with it. But the other day I saw something, run past me. And I was like, crap, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. My other kiddo was like, hey, have you been hearing stuff? And I was like, what do you mean? Have you been hearing stuff? And I know she hears things. I know she does. I know she sees things, but they're not willing to get in tune with it.
I'll tell you that generally for me, the sage stopped working. So I do frankincense or Palo Santo are the two kind of go-tos for me, and then also dragon's blood. And patchouli and cinnamon is another really good one too. But as I'm clearing space, I will say, in all ancestor guides, spirit guides are welcome to stay. Anything that's meant to anything here that means to hurt or harm me or my family or my pets mentally, physically, or spiritually has to go. And that helps, at least for the ancestors, to make sure that they have a safe place to stay, because a lot of my spirit guide is not related to me, but I have a lot of ancestors that basically hold the walls for me in the way of protection. So, and I don't want to lose that connection. Yeah. So I get been on that big time.
Yeah. And I tell them, it's like, I would never, ever. And so like, for me, I'm the only witch in the family that I know of that I can find. But my grandpa, who had passed, he was Native American and full-blooded Native American. We just found that out too. Like, he tried to lie his way out of saying that he was full-blooded Native, but he was born in 1911. So he had that. He died in 95, but he had that really bad. Like, he cut all his hair off. He wanted to be white. He didn't want to look anything. Like, back then, you could have your birth certificate be whatever, changed without anybody knowing, and he changed it to white. And so now, as we are finding all this out, we're like, okay, well, what tribe did he belong to? What we found out, his mother left after his father had passed and married a German man. So we were always told, you're part Native American, you're part German. We found out that's not true. My mother is half Native American, so it would be 25 for me, and we just can't figure out where he's from.
Where it's from. Have you done any of the DNA type stuff?
My aunt did, but they couldn't pinpoint exactly where. Just says, it just said, well, she wouldn't let us see it either, but it just said Native American or whatever. I'm not sure.
Ancestry.com has done something pretty awesome for me. My family was like, we're Native American. Especially on my dad's side, Native American, and there's not a stitch of Native American anywhere on that family tree.
That's my grandma's side. They were told that they were Native, but you can't find anybody who looks.
Then we had different people on my dad's side do the ancestry.com as well to prove it. So like we had on his mother's side, my grandmother had already passed, so her little sister did it, and little sister saying she's little sister's 80 now, so we got her to Aunt Lucy to do it, and then we got Uncle Bruce, who is on my dad's side. So like we covered the bases, like, because my dad refused to do anything because he's like, we are Native American, you don't know. And I'm like, whatever. And then I did it. So my cousin also did it. No stitch of Native American on there. I did it. I have Native American, and they're like, see, I get it from my mother's side because they are Puerto Rican and everything else. And it's very interesting, but it's not the Native American, it's Inuit. Oh, thank you. My food has arrived. So it's Inuit. So it's like, it's very interesting. DNA. What do you do?
DNA test, not ancestry.
I did say DNA.
I heard ancestry. Sorry.
I know, and I said that interjections. What did I'm not saying things right? I did say DNA test, but I said my ancestry.com has taken.
I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet, but I want to.
Well, at first it was general, and then it like shot me up on the thing, so that it's like Canada and Alaska and all that other stuff. So that's why I was really drawn to the Pacific Northwest. I think was my heritage through that.
Yeah.
So, and boy, it's different. And so now anything Native American, or actually not just now, but anything like Native American, like Cherokee, any of those types of things, if I see, some people are like really into it and they got little statues and other stuff, like it makes me feel horrible. Like I don't like it. Like something about my ancestry and that, like I'm having, I don't know if it's Akashic Records or whatever it is, but it's like very clearly those were my enemies. And I don't like I don't like it. I don't like it. I like Inuit stuff. That makes me feel like home, but it's just really interesting that the distinction between tribes or whatever, it's like, geez, like, why am I prejudiced against this one particular thing? And I don't mean to be, and I don't even know why.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what tribe he came from, but I want to do my DNA just to see for myself, because I don't even know from my dad's side. He don't know. So I kind of would just like to know, what am I?
Yeah. There's also 23andMe, and there's all these other ones, but generally Ancestry has actually come a long way, and the more people that do it, you'll find out more information. So sometimes they'll do like an update, and because they'll throw more stuff into the genetic mapping, and then you'll be able to see more stuff. So like every year or two, they do this big update, and I'm like, oh my God, my percentages change. I'm like, I am Swedish, 3%. I get all excited. I'm like, what's this Congo? I'm like, oh, that's right. Okay, because I'm Puerto Rican. Get it. Get it. Yep. That's the thing. All right. Well, I'm gonna go because food is here and my tummy is growl.
I gotta, here in a minute, my husband went to go pick up my nephew because he's 4 and he just loves being over here because of Halloween. So
fun. It's a fun place. Yeah, I get you. Well,
it's been hard because he was very close to Papa, which was my husband's dad. So my husband looks almost identical to my father-in-law.
So he wants to come over and feel that closeness. That's sweet. That's sweet that you guys could have that, though.
And it's hard because me and my sister-in-law do not get along, but I don't ever hold that against the baby. Well, he's not a baby, but you know what I mean.
I do. We have relationships with the little people, and sometimes they suffer because of our relationships with the bigger ones.
Yeah, she doesn't like me because witchcraft. Her fiance, my husband's side of the family grew up Catholic, and then I don't know why she would hate me. I feel like a lot of Catholic stuff has pagan, stuff in it. Yeah. So like I don't understand.
It's like witchcraft. It's not totally.
So yeah, but her fiance is like totally against. Well, like when they come to my house, they're like, I moved my altar in my front room just because it made them uncomfortable when they came over. So I didn't want that because I was like, okay, my father-in-law passed. I really just want to like mend whatever's going on with them and me. And so I moved it because they do come over a decent amount now, especially with my nephew and stuff. So I moved a lot of my stuff out of the way, except for my money altar. That's staying. I'm not touching that.
Right. Damn straight. Damn straight.
But I did move my Hecate altar just because I was like, I don't want, if they're coming over, I don't want their energy interfering with that altar, because I'm just now learning, even though I've been working with Hecate for such a long time, I'm just now learning that relationship between me and her. I feel like it's different now because of 2020. So protecting it. I'm protecting that.
you're protecting your space and, you know, establishing those boundaries. It's very healthy. It's good. It's good stuff.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you for talking.
Thank you for having me. I don't know if I helped anybody out, but hey.
I think you did. You had lots of questions in the chat, and it's been wonderful, and it's good to get to know you just a little bit better. And when this pandemic is over, we're going and doing things.
Yes. I told my husband, I was like, she is going to be my friend, okay?
Already here, doing stuff. Oh gosh, I can't wait to take you to McMinimans down in Tacoma. Have you been?
No, but I follow this lady who works there, and she goes through it and shows all this stuff, and I'm just like, oh, that is so amazing.
It's 7 stories. It's awesome.
She was showing all the false doors and which one goes to where, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I have to go. Yeah.
I know. When snow comes again and Noah comes again, we're all just going to go there. Well, it's a little ways away, but yeah.
I'll have to meet everybody because, like, I love all the Texas witches.
Texas witches. Well, yeah. Oh man. Well, we're eventually. They all want to come here. They all want to live here, and I don't blame them. Once they get here, they're going to be like, oh, the trees.
I know. I told my husband because I said I want to go to where you are, and I was like, okay, but I also want to try to go to I think it's Orcas Island. I've never been there before, and I've lived here my whole entire life, but I don't know her name, but she is on Instagram, and she was there, and it had the spiral that she was showing, and I was like, wait, I know that spiral. Like, I need to be there. I need to be there.
A lot of alien sightings out there on those islands too, which is very interesting. So, this is nuts. Aiden,
but
you listening?
Yeah. Yeah, my husband is one of the he likes cryptids, so Bigfoot, big fan of Bigfoot.
Okay.
He's always like at night he's always like, hey, do you want to watch a Bigfoot show? We got Discovery Plus, and so there's tons of Bigfoot stuff on there, you know. So I don't watch like normal like reality TV. I watch Discovery, ghost shows, cryptid shows.
Me too. I know. There was one I was watching. I can't remember, but they would. Oh, is it? It's not Paranormal Investigation, although I do like that one. Where it's like the detective and then the medium, and then they meet up, and they, you know, like, well, this is what I saw, what you saw, and he's like doing all the background stuff, and I'm like, I love that combination. Was really good.
I love Ghost Adventures, but I hate that Zach always is like witches, and I'm like, dude, stop saying that. You're gonna you have so many followers and so many people watch the show. Stop saying about witches.
Yeah, and I don't like the way he taunts the ghosts. That's one thing I don't like about that particular host. I think he's being very disrespectful, and he's trying to he's jabbing at them, and I'm like, what are you doing? You know, like, what are you doing? I actually stopped watching him because of that. Yeah. There is another group, and I got to research and remember what it was, but it was like a group of them that they would go and do their investigation, and they would do these things. But then at the end, they would like recreate a scene of what the ghost would like identify with. You know what I'm talking about?
I know which show that is, but I can't. It's
like it love it. It was one season, and I was hoping that they were going to do another one. I haven't seen anything.
I think it stopped when the pandemic happened. But I do like Holzner Files. That's another one. I think that's
now.
But I like that they have the guy who doesn't just do ghost stuff. He does all sorts of paranormal type stuff, Bigfoot, all that type of stuff. And then they have a medium on there, and she's very good. I like her. She was also on the one with Jack Osborne, and I can't think of.
I didn't watch that. I haven't seen that one yet, but it's a lot that I need to check out. I know. As soon as I go down the hole, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I love it.
Yeah. So we just sit and talk about it. He was like, so do you see the other day? He was like, so when you see things, do you see it like how they're showing it? I was like, it depends. I was like, it just depends for me, because sometimes I'll see just black, or I'll just hear, you know, or it'll be out of the corner of my eye and you can't really see, but you see the movement. So
yeah, sometimes like have you ever seen Predator? I'm sure you have. You know how the
probably.
Predator is like masked. It's like a, you know, like he goes into the invisible, but you can kind of tell with the movement. It kind of looks like a mirror, you know, type of thing. Sometimes I see that where it's just like energy, you know, and I can tell where it is. Or I do get, you know, the mist or whatever. And then sometimes when I was a kid, a lot of times I just straight up talking to somebody, it looked like an actual full person, and I didn't know if they were real or alive. I had no idea.
I have actually right now, I don't have it, but I did for a long time. I didn't realize when I set up my mirrors that they were all aligned with each other. Yep. And so we've moved them kind of, but while that was happening, I had nothing happen. And I think it was just because at that time I probably blocked myself from seeing,
it's possible.
Because I know that I blocked myself on purpose, just because I was just too much was happening, and now I'm kind of
at times we need to rein it in just a little.
Yeah, that was me with like during 2020. I was like, I'm done, shutting myself down. I'm done. I don't want to do anything. Now I'm just like, okay, and now it's coming back a lot more now that I'm opening up. So it's like more is hitting, more is happening.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, we're really going now. We can talk forever. We can talk forever. Well, thank you very, very much for coming on, Miss Tara. And let's see. Next up, let's see, would be the 24th. The 24th, Wednesday, the 24th at 9 a.m. with Chris Ashburn is going to be on the channel. And then after that, we've got Thursday, the 25th at 6 p.m., a reschedule with Honey Owlet Moon, the Alaska Witch. And then we go into Elder Crow, and I believe it was my Saturday, his Sunday. So I want to say, I think that is the 27th, I think is what that is. But if there's any links that you want me to provide in the channel, please, for this description box, then please send those to me, Miss Tara. And that's it, I think. And thank you. And if anybody out there has a story to tell, and whether you're a YouTuber or you're witchy or not witchy or whatever, but you've got a story to tell and you think that somebody needs to hear it, then please private message me or email me at ravenflowerwest@gmail.com, and we will discuss things. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day.